How companies staff their product teams defines how easy it is to create value. The speed product teams can create value determines whether companies will prosper or remain stuck. Although this statement may sound obvious, the reality of product teams is shocking. Try asking the following questions to product professionals and you may get astonished by the answers you find out. How long does it take for an idea to convert into something valuable? How independent can teams create value? How do teams define the activities to work on? When you get answers suggesting that teams have external dependencies to create value, you've got something to change.
Absolutely. Another anti-pattern is that teams are divided by rather technical areas, for example, front-end and back-end teams. Such teams tend to work on stories that are not reflecting customer needs, but rather tailored to their technical limitations, which makes it really hard to create value. So the stuffing is suboptimal. We experienced that cross-functional independent teams help businesses to steadily grow, while dependent teams dramatically limit business growth. The more independence the team has, the faster they can create value. And getting the stuffing of your team right is a fundamental step to move forwards to empowered teams.
Let us elaborate on the downsides of dependent teams and the advantages of cross-functional ones. To illustrate these advantages of dependent teams, let's consider an e-commerce with 6 teams, 4 focused on specific parts of the product and 2 focused on disciplines, UX and QA. Each team has a clear responsibility and set of skills. All product teams depend on UX and QA teams. This scenario would lead to several downsides.
Indeed, one of the first downsides you encounter is lots of miscommunication. Dependencies require constant handovers, which lead to eventual miscommunications. Each team will refine and plan their work totally separately and interact with other teams only on demand. Another downside is the lack of responsibility. As the responsibility of UX and QA is kind of outsourced in separate teams, no team feels accountable from end-to-end perspective. Let's imagine the UX team designed an experience, which was then implemented by the shop team while QA ensured its quality. After the release, it turns out that the users don't use it, and it does not generate the expected results. No team will feel responsible now, but rather blame the other team for their poor work.
Another downside is decision based on limitations. Each team decides what to work on based on what skills allow them to do, instead of thinking on meaningful problems to solve together. Each team is a separate island and only interacts with one another when needed. Lastly, superficial domain knowledge. Each team focuses exclusively on their responsibilities. The dev team implements what is defined by UX, and QA tests whatever they receive, and yet no team goes in depth in their common domain to uncover hidden opportunities because they are too busy handling their dependencies.
Dependent teams slow down business growth. Please note that we used UX and QA for dependencies to illustrate the problem, but there are other disciplines to consider, for example, analytics or DevOps.
Let's look at cross-functional teams now instead. When teams can create value independently, the results can be remarkable. Yet it's hard to remove all dependencies and transform teams into cross-functional units. This isn't something that happens from day to night. It is a journey that will take a while. Considering the previous example, we would have 4 teams with no dependencies when we convert the team into cross-functional ones. What does it imply to be a cross-functional team? It means the teams have all required skills to transform ideas into results. They are independent and do not need to synchronize with another teams or hand over tasks to others to complete. Cross-functional teams can create value at a steady pace when they are empowered to solve meaningful problems.
And the advantages are tremendous. Some of them are accountability. The team is fully accountable for their results. There is no room for blame games because the team has all the required skills to get things done. Speed. With no dependencies, the teams can move fast and everyone is inside the same team. Communication becomes straightforward and there is no need for handover or bureaucracy. Domain knowledge. As every team member works towards the same goal, they continuously enrich the common domain knowledge. The longer they work together, the faster they can discover valuable insights. And lastly, focus on what matters. The team has a clear focus, create value sooner. They don't need to waste their energy handling dependencies and beg other teams to prioritize their requests. Cross-functional teams help business thrive.
Another vital aspect of cross-functional is that it goes beyond product teams. That means business stakeholders must be available for the team and have aligned priorities. For example, teams can easily book time with business stakeholders during an initiative because the initiative matters to them. If that is not the case, the product team will delay creating value because it lacks relevant input from business stakeholders. Sometimes, even cross-functional teams will end up in a situation with dependencies, which can be counterproductive.
For example, consider an e-commerce implementation of a referral program. This initiative may touch my account, payment, and the shop team. If each team works separately, dependencies will slow them down. A meaningful way of tackling this scenario is by forming a temporary team with members from each team, plus a designer and maybe someone from marketing or customer service for a while. They work with full speed to make this initiative go live.
One of the biggest obstacles is becoming a self-managing team. Most dependent teams are used to receive requests to fulfill. Requests mainly require execution, while cross-functional teams need to receive goals to achieve, while goals require a different strategy, as the team must discover what works and what doesn't.
And another thing is that cross-functional teams always have a duality happening during their sprints. Some members may be working in the present, while others on the future. And that's fine, and it can generate terrific results. Software engineers are creative and should be involved in discovering problems instead of only implementing the solutions. A common excuse to run away from cross-functional teams is this person cannot be fully utilized, so it's better to have a separate team serving several dev teams instead. Don't fall into this trap, please. People inside product teams don't need to be fully utilized. They need to have a clear priority in mind, contributing to getting things done with the product team. Once that is done, they can indeed work on other activities outside the team scope.
So let's summarize our key takeaways once more.
Dependencies limit a team's ability to create value sooner and lead to poor results.
Teams have to become self-managing before becoming cross-functional.
Dual reality, discovery and delivery, is needed in cross-functional teams.
Cross-functional teams focus on creating value, while dependent teams focus on delivering tasks.
That was it for this session today, guys. If you liked it, please subscribe to our channel and give us a thumbs up if that was helpful for you. We hope to see you soon.
Thanks for watching.